Huge spike.
Huge spike right here on open, guys. Let's see. People are on their way in right now as we speak. Yeah, it's crazy. It's a good thing we started a little later today. The breakout was pretty extreme right there. This thing just dumped. How far did it dump down? That's crazy volatility right here on open. Wow. 223 points, guys. That's crazy. Looks like Talanji caught the 120. He got the pending sell momentum right there before market opened up, hopped into it, and then chased it all the way down. It's down. That's crazy. This thing could have, this thing would have destroyed a lot of people, obviously. It's crazy. 250 points almost drop, and then 250 point correction right back up. Yeah. Huge, huge spike right there. Hey, Miss H, morning. All right, let's see who's here. Morning, Lila. Morning, CJ. Morning, Roland. Morning, Daniel. Morning, Maria. Morning, Talanji. Morning, everybody. Um, yeah, unfortunately, so Masija unfortunately ate the stop on that breakout right there. Some of you guys take the win, some of you guys take the loss. I mean, it depends on how you guys are applying it, if you're doing with momentum or against. Um, I was not expecting that big dump to happen right there. There's pre-market news, building permits, housing data, manufacturing. But that was about it. So I mean, there's some news here pre-market. It was all bullish. People expected price to go up. Price dumped, and it came right back up. It dumped, yeah, crazy. 230 points immediately on open, and then it came right back um, right after. That's pretty extreme. So, all right, we'll wait for the market here to kind of stabilize a little bit, of course, but we'll see where this ends up going. So I will put the direction of the bias shortly. Just give me a second while I go through things here. I gotta do some stuff behind the scenes real quick. All right, 1 second, guys. Just gotta help out Dijon with this. Okay. Just doing some stuff behind the scenes right now, guys. Helping John with something real quick, and then continue on with the analysis. Market's too crazy right now anyway, so I'm not looking to get into anything. I'm gonna wait for it to stabilize a little bit. It's yeah, the spike back and forth right here was pretty insane on open. Trying to see what caused it, but didn't really take a look at. I'm gonna take a look at CNBC, see if there was any breaking news. It probably was, because that's a big dump. Like I would expect a 100 point dump, maybe a 150 point dump, maybe a 200 point dump, but 230 points within seconds, a little extreme there. Okay, looks good. So everything is good to go. Let's see if over here. Sorry, guys, I'm gonna step away for 1 second. All right, guys, I'm back. Yeah, lots of chop right here. I'm looking at your message right there, Masij. So it looks like Masij over here took another stop loss on the high reversal. Yeah, it's the first losing day that Masij has had in a while, so it's all good. He basically Masij's rules is when he has three wins, he's done. If he has two losses, he's done. He took a loss on the breakout, and then he took a loss on the higher high reversal. It's extremely choppy right now, as you guys can see. I'm gonna go and just kind of drop some structure here. I mean, obviously we're in market regime chop right now, but let's do that real quick. So I'm not in a rush to take anything. Obviously, I'd love to take something, but I'm not in a rush. So right here, lower time frames are pretty much neutral. You can see the 1 minute prices in between the pivots. Trend meters blue. 5 minute prices below the pivots. Trend meters red. 10 minute prices in between the pivots. Trend meters red. So I'm going to put bearish neutral over here for short term. Yeah, I'm not in a rush to take anything right now. Long-term trend is, let's see, it's neutral. Everything is kind of neutral. So you can see over here the 30-minute time frame prices in between the pivots, trend meters green, pivots are kind of going sideways. Same with the 1 hour sideways and the 4 hour sideways as well. So it's pretty neutral overall. There's not really much of a direction with regard to the trend. Heavy chop right there, of course. The fundamentals, let me check what the fundamentals look like or what they looked like last night. Nice. So Masish said that he's recouped some of the losses with the chop pot. Makes sense. It's super choppy, so like right now the chop pot should probably be doing pretty decent. Neutral with fundamentals. Well, the whole market in general is neutral right now. Um, Looking at my algo entries for today. Let me see what I got. So I got a couple. They're not coming up until a little later, which is perfectly fine. I'm not really looking to jump into anything too early anyways. So my algo entries, 705. They're in a cluster, it looks like. So 705, 710, 754, 7, 6. Yeah, they're in a cluster, so I mean it's all good. Probably gonna happen a little later. Either way, there's nothing for me to take right now. Let me go ahead and just mark up some structure here as we continue on. Let's see. So we've got, I mean, we have a pending higher high right there. I'll just draw this one for now. So we got the higher high right there, lower low right there, another one down below. Got a couple structured areas here. I'm just gonna mark up where I see fit. All right, it's a little messy. Anyways, we're still stuck in this chop right now. Market looks like it's moving into expansion to the upside, which is perfectly fine. We'll be looking for possible opportunities there. Let me go and just mark this. I think this will be a little too extreme. We talked about how I try to set this up like this, um, like for the bigger move. I don't know if this is gonna work because it's kind of extreme, 400 points. I mean, it could push up, but I don't know if the 400 points is really realistic. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to make it a little bit smaller, maybe down to this lower zone. So 66, 132. Okay, so there's the move that's within here. Market's actually starting to expand right now to the upside. Um, I mean, technically there was an MPS V2 that was within it. I personally wouldn't have taken that one, but you can see over here. So we had a buy signal price retraced on this red one, and it confirmed on this green one right here. So there's technically an MPS within the bigger move right here. I mean, obviously it's not one that I would look to get into for the obvious reasons, of course, but there wasn't a trade within a trade right there. So what I'm going to look for here is I'm going to keep following it as price establishes new momentum. I'll draw another bigger trade within the smaller trade, or a bigger trade that will be leading, and then we'll kind of look for entries within there. But yeah, as of now, I think this is for the most part kind of done with the current move for that big move there. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to look at the previous markup structure, or not structure. I'm just going to mark up highs and lows real quick. So this is from Monday from 6:30. So this is previous day low, previous day high. This will be previous day low, and then the overnight high. Overnight high is going to be right here with London high. So the overnight high is going to be where the London high is, and then obviously the overnight low is going to be right here at the Asia low. All right, I have pretty much all the structure here kind of marked up and lined up. I'll mark up the opening price, which is right there, and then I'll mark up the opening range as well. Opening range low, and then the opening range high, which is 34. All right, so a lot of the structure, I mean, it's super messy, as you guys can see right here. It's really messy. It's all over the place with regard to structure and stuff like that. So I just marked up kind of all of these price structures that are somewhat relevant. They're not most important, but they are somewhat relevant. You can see prices rejecting off the this resistance up here, which is also the overnight high. This also aligns with an order block. So there's an order block up here. I think this is from the 5 or the 15 minute. So price is rejecting directly off the order block right here. I wouldn't technically take the rejection. I would look for price to actually break above, break and retest it. And then I would continue riding it up higher because the trend here is currently pretty bullish. This is another MPS if anybody's looking to get into it. I mean, I personally wouldn't because it's just so unpredictable right now how price is moving, but this is another MPS right here. So if you want to look for an MPS pattern, we talked about this before. I'm looking for trades within a trade, right? So I'm looking for a bigger trade, and then I want to trade within it. This trade's already done with, this big trade. So this buy signal right here, I put the stop loss below the structure. I went for a 1 to 2 right here just to mark up the movement, and it's already done with. So I wouldn't take this one here specifically. I'd wait for another momentum signal to come up because eventually it's going to come up, right? There's always going to be a momentum in the opposite direction. It can't push up forever and it can't push down forever. Eventually it's going to retrace or go the other way. Um, But right now it's just it hasn't confirmed yet. So I'm gonna wait for a sell signal for the most part. Once the sell signal comes up, I'll draw a big, there we go. And it's coming up right there. So if this here closes, I'll draw a big move. And then from this big move here, I'll trade within it. Okay, perfect. So we have this big move right here. We're currently like in a really, really wide range. The range is between this structure and this structure down here, basically. So the range is okay to trade in. It's not necessarily in a chop. It's kind of just expanding both ways. Um, obviously accumulation to the upside, distribution to the downside right here. Price is basically coming back down. So you can trade within this area here. Target area for price to reach is probably going to be the opening price. So what I would look for here is if you're looking to take a trade, I'm looking for a price to kind of push down, retrace, continue down lower. Something like that, right? If possible. Yeah, if possible. But again, you don't really want to trade when market's choppy, so we'll wait. It's basically a 200 point range, basically from this upper area to this lower area down here. And we'll see if there's any opportunities. My algo entries don't come up till 7:05, but I'm also looking for MPS and high-low scalps in between. So we'll be looking for opportunities right here. But there's nothing here at the moment. Let's see, Daniel's asking for marking it up with double ATR. No, so I'm doing the stop loss at the swing high, and I'm doing it double the stop loss. So whatever the stop loss is, I just double it. So it's basically 160. So it stops right here at the swing high. Yeah, I'm just doing it based off the structure, price structure. I mean, you can do it off the ATR if you want, but the price structure makes more sense because if price goes past this area, then you know you're wrong, right? Like if price pushes past here and it stops it out and it ends up pushing up higher, then we know that the sells here are wrong. So that's why I'm just going off price structure versus ATR. ATR is good for the actual entries, but not necessarily for just identifying market structure for like to invalidate a trade basically. Because like price can push up right here and then it wouldn't be invalidated, right? Like if it was like 50 points, because it could come right back down. But in order for it to be invalidated, it would need to push past this structure here because it'll go from bearish to now bullish. Yeah, I mean, there's different price structures. You can base it off the signal or you can base it off the swing high. Because like, for example, right here too, see how this one over here, we had a buy signal. If this here would have closed below the buy signal, this would have invalidated it because we would have had a sell signal back down. But it just basically whipped up and down and then it pushed right back up. So this is, if you guys are wondering, like this strategy that I'm marking it up from, this is just a basic momentum strategy. It's just based off the momentum signals, no trend, no nothing, just momentum signals. And the reason why this goes hand in hand with the algo entries is because we're trading algo entries within the momentum signal, right? So like we're basing all of our entries off the previous momentum. So if the previous momentum is still running to profit, we could take these algo entries in between. That's why we're just riding the wave, basically. So like for example, if we get this entry at 7:05 and then there's a sell signal and it's still pushing, like say for example, this trade's still going back and forth, but it hasn't hit target yet, right? If it hits 7:05, we could ride this wave down, basically a trade within a trade, and then ride this down to the full target of the actual original position that was way up here. So this is a way to because that's really what it is, right? If you think about the algo is basically just you're trading within the momentum that's already running. So, I mean, there's a cut. There doesn't need to be a cutoff because this could technically go for a 1 to 3, right? We don't have to be at a 1 to 2. This could technically be like a 1 to 3, or I can push down to next structure down here. Like if you want to go all the way down to the previous lower low, you can do that and you could trade within it. But I think to keep it realistic, like because the thing is we're not like in a very directional market, it makes more sense to trade within a 1 to 2 within market structure. Yeah, Masij said, I love this way of looking at it, Sean. Great way to visualize and validate algo entries. Yeah, exactly. Because the thing is, we're not really looking at any outside logic, right? The algo is based off momentum. So if you're just using a wider range of the momentum, you're really just trading the same thing, but you're looking at the bigger picture. Yeah, because the trend doesn't really matter, honestly, not for momentum. So Masij over here has posted his P&L for the day. Unfortunately, this is one of the first red days he's had in a while. It's not a big red day. It's a very small one, actually. So yeah, Masij said over here on the 18th, extreme chop on open. So we took the loss on the breakout and then the higher high reversal. He's cutting it out at about two back-to-back losses. So he took the loss right there. Um, Today couldn't really be predicted, honestly, guys. I didn't expect this big 230 point drop to happen. So Masij couldn't stop the bot. Like if we saw this happen before it started, like if it was pre-market, then okay, he could have just stopped the bot for the day. But because it was so crazy, he just really couldn't, make that quick split decision between running it and not running it, or else you just go against your strategy. So Masij over here unfortunately lost 6,600, not a very big amount because he already won previous day 5,000. So he's at a slight loss or he's in a green, I think, right? Or not yet. He's in a slight loss, maybe 1,000 loss, but overall he's still up like well over 100,000. So he started with 50,000. He's currently at 73,000. If you guys are not familiar with what Missy is doing here, he's automated all of my strategies, so he doesn't have to actually do the work. He's just kind of just following through and running the automated bot to take the entries for him. So not bad. I mean, it's part of the game, right? I think the the only way you could really grow in trading is to understand the game, right? The game is like there's wins, there's going to be wins, there's going to be losses. And as long as you can continue to stick to your game plan, whether it's trading manually or trading uh, through automated trading, you just have to stick to the game plan. So we'll see. All right, we're currently in a buy right now, and guys, so the sell over here did not complete. As you guys can see, price came down halfway, and now it's climbing to the upside right here. Let's take a look at the other indexes. So the indexes right now, that the YM is currently slightly bullish, ES is slightly bullish, NQ is slightly bullish, and gold is slightly bullish or very bullish. So everything here is pretty bullish in a sense. So price may climb back up higher. Looking at the indexes here, it looks like they're kind of on the same trajectory, like looking at YM and stuff. None of them are really leading. I mean, YM looks like it might be leading a little bit, or ES. They're all kind of moving in the same direction at the same time. So we'll kind of see how this here ends up pushing through. If you guys want to look for a possible MPS to the upside, you guys can. We're currently still somewhat in expansion. I don't think we're in a chop yet. I mean, we might be in a chop. I'm looking at this right now. This might be the chop. Well, I know we're in a range. We're for sure in a range, but it's a pretty big range. So you can still trade within it. Like looking at this right here, this thing dropped down about 100 points, 120 points. So you could still trade within this range. Um, but yeah, I mean, looking at this here, so I'm not gonna really mess with the trend right now. The trend's kind of still mixed at the moment. This is more of a bullish neutral now, but it's still a little bit mixed for the most part. Yeah, Masih said I'm happy. I don't mind losing days like that at all when we have 5, 6 win streaks. Yeah, I agree with you, Masih, 100%. Masih said at the end of February he's going to reset the accounts to 50K. Yes, withdraw to finish funding my project. Yeah, 100%, Siege. And I think that's a good thing too, because when you reset it, you can kind of start fresh. It's always good to start fresh sometimes, right? Especially if you're like you did it during the testing phase. Now you kind of have an idea of like what you want to do and what you want to use. Uh, and then you could, keep basing the statistics off your new criteria. And the new strategies too, because you weren't applying the higher high, lower low strategy prior. Um, Plus, I don't know if you're doing the whole 3 win, 2 loss thing to start. So yeah, it's good to start fresh. And then by then, other people will start using the algo as well, and we kind of work together collaboratively to improve. So we'll see. I know you guys are excited for the algo as well, or automation. I wouldn't call it an algo. I just call it automation for the most part. Yeah, Masij said he's on track to make 800 to 900 this year. Very possible, especially if you start to scale up, Masij. Yeah, especially as you continue to scale up, because you can still keep the same contract size. I mean, even though you restart back to 50, you probably keep the same contract size, and then you'll just continuously scale. Yeah, Rev said that's the term automation. Yeah, I wouldn't call it algo, I just call it automation. It's just because the strategies are just automated. That's basically what it is. Versus the algo where we're kind of basing it off the data. All right, so if you guys want to take a trade right here, there's a possible MPS that's setting up right here. It's just a regular MPS V2. This candle would have to close green. So the MPS V2s that I'm looking for, guys, I'm looking for, I mean, you guys can look for price to close green on any candle, but what I like to see is I like to see a immediate flip. So like green, red, green, right? That's a cleaner MPS setup. But if you guys want to, if you guys are fine with like price turning red and then turning green at some point at a later period, you guys can also do that. But for me personally, I like to see when it's green, red, green for buys, and then for sells, of course. Red, green, red. All right, so this is kind of tricky because this candle is kind of going back and forth. So I don't know if it's going to close green on this one. It looks like it might, but it might swing down at the last second. Yeah, I don't trust this one here. Okay, well, I'm going to mark it up anyway. So I'm not in this position here, but I'm going to mark this up as a MPSV2 just so we could follow it. It is a trade within a trade, basically. So like I said, we have this bigger momentum push within this momentum signal, and then price is pushing up higher. It's just a trade that's running within another trade. We do have the first algo entry coming up right here at 7:05. We got a couple 7:05, 7:09, 7:10. Let's see what we got here. All right, I'm not in this position, guys. I'm just marking the trade within the trade. Like I said, this candle was tricky because it was like bouncing around. It was like turning red, turning green. I don't like when the candles are like that. I want to know for sure if it's pushing in a certain direction. Versus, where it's super bouncy and stuff like that. We also didn't really have price rejection off structure down here. So like typically what I like to look at is I like to look at, breaking close past certain structure, like an overnight high, a session, maybe these previous support resistances in a sense, not always, but sometimes. Um, I like to look for obstacles. There's obviously sessions right there. So I'm not in this position. I was just marking up a trade within a trade. Um, I think our market regime, unfortunately, is going into chop now. It's going into chop. If you guys remembered yesterday's market, we were in chop like pretty much the entire session, but then at the end, we had these later algo entries and they all actually hit. So I'm going to be okay with taking later entries. Usually I try to sit back for these later entries, but for today, I will probably, like if we stay in chop right here, eventually it's going to move back into expansion, right? Right now, price is obviously chopping. You guys can see it's stuck within this structure right here. So in order for me to take this 705 entry or any of these later entries, I need price to actually push past this structure. I need price to be outside here. I don't really want to trade within this middle area right here because I don't want to get chopped out. The ATR is currently 44. Again, if you want to take another MPS V2 setup, there's like another one right here. Like I said, I'm not really looking to take those right now because we're currently in a market chop. I'm gonna wait for price to push out of here, possibly break and retest this overnight high, which is the London high. And then I'll look for continuation up higher. Trends bullish. The indexes are all bullish. You can see YM, ES, NQ, GC, they're all bullish. Um, looking over here, the short term is now bullish, so I'm gonna change this to bullish now. Long term is, let's say bullish neutral. So here's where it's going to be a little bit of a problem, guys. The issue with this here is if price pushes past this area, we're going to be at our target already for the momentum. So it's going to be a problem because we're not going to have enough space for me to continue pushing up higher, right, for the 705 algo entry because the trade's technically done at this point. Yeah, so if you guys can see over here, this is going to be a little bit of an issue because if I try to get into the algo entries here at 705, uh, our target's going to be outside of the bigger move. We don't really want the target to be outside the bigger move because what happens a lot of times is when price reaches a target, it tends to reverse, right? So that's exactly what happened right here. See how price it hit target and then eventually just reverse back down. Not to say that price can't push higher, but you are taking a risk trading outside of the bigger move here. You want to trade within the move. That's the whole point of using this analysis here. All right, we're getting some retracement right here as price pulls back into the range. Again, like I said earlier, I don't really want to trade within this chop down here. Ideally, I don't want to trade somewhere up here, but again, this is where things are going to start to, I'd say, overlap in a sense. Yeah, it'll start to overlap in a sense. Nice work. So here's the trades Paul took. Paul took this gold inch or this Nasdaq entry for a buy. Nice work on that one, Paul. And then Paul took another entry right before over here for ES. Or this is the Russell 2000. Nice. Looks like you're trading all the indexes, huh? Well, it seems like it. Yeah, great work right there. Up 300 points for the day. All right, let's see. Kenny said, hanging at the monthly momentum. Harmony said, how do you mark up the structure? I mark up structure at the previous higher highs that are untested. So previous higher highs and previous lower lows that are untested. So like, for example, down here, I have this structure marked up. This is from the lower low. If you're talking about the lines, I marked them up at the previous day high, previous day low, overnight high, overnight low, and then the opening range high and opening range low. So basically highs and lows at different points in time. Previous day, overnight, and then the 5 minute orb or opening range. Not to take it, but just to follow it to see where price is currently pushing. Price is obviously above the opening range right now, so it's pretty bullish for the most part. We have the algo entry coming up right here at 705, guys. Again, I don't think this algo entry is going to be good for me necessarily because, like I said, if this entry does come up, it's going to be outside of the bigger move, right? And I don't want to be outside the bigger move right here. I want it to be within the move. So if you guys want to take this trade here, I mean, you guys can take it at your own risk. I would highly recommend if you guys do decide to take it, move your stop loss and profit as it reaches a certain point. This is going to be the first algo entry, guys, 705, if you guys are looking to get into it. I'm not going to get into it because, like I said, this is going to be outside of the bigger range. It looks good, though. I mean, it looks good. It's going to close in about 20 seconds. I'll follow here. We have more algo entries following right after at 709, so we might be able to get in a little later. But yeah, this is the algo entry right here at 705. We're still in expansion for the most part. Okay, this candle's a little big. It might be a little tricky. All right, so this is the 705 algo entry. It is currently running right now. So right here, it's going to hit the target for the bigger move. So this is going to be the initial target for 164 points, and then it's likely to push further. I just don't know how far it's going to push up from here. Because this is what I was concerned about. Price might push up, hit target, and then turn back down for retest. Right? Or price can just blast through. It can blast right through and then maybe pull back and then push up higher. Yeah, see how price is sitting right here at the target, right? It's like right at the target basically. This is what I was worried about because usually what happens, it'll hit the target and then it loses volume. The thing is, we're in an expansion market regime right now, so this is actually good market conditions for price to push through. The only problem is that it's already at target. And let me do a further, let's just do, I'm gonna do a confluence check here. So I just want to see if there was a break of structure and a hold or a break and retest. So there wasn't really a break and retest off this lower right here, this higher low. So this was not a confluence for me. But we did have price kind of break past structure right here. So price broke past this resistance yeah, resistance turned support, retested, retested. We didn't get a retest, or technically we sort of did, but not really. We didn't really get a retest off this structure. So this is the structure that I would be more concerned about because this is the most recent. What might happen here, and this is what I'm going to see here maybe happen, is price come down, retest the structure, and then come back up. So this is a problem because it might stop it out before it reaches target first, right? And that's kind of what's happening right now. Yeah. So again, these are just confluences. They're not requirements to the strategy, but I like to see like a break and retest and a hold off structure, which we just didn't have yet here. There's just a lot. There's reason. So the thing with this is I had a lot of reasons not to take it, and that's why I decided not to take it. Good thing I didn't because this looks like it would have stopped me out. We're not quite. I think it's still running. Yeah, it looks like it might still be running here. Either way, I'm going to clean it up. Now that we have the break and retest here, the 709 is actually looking like a better entry. So we had an algo entry at 705, algo entry at 709. Because now we have the retest. Again, the thing that I would be more concerned about would be the market regime, and then also that we've already basically reached the target here for the bigger move. Technically, it didn't hit yet. It was like off by 1 point. But we do have the break and retest now. So what I like to see is I like to see a break and close past structure, which right here would be the overnight high. And then on top of that, I'd like to see volatility. The volume is pretty high right now. It's currently at 36 ATR. The next thing I would like to see is, basically a hold above this structure. Okay, so this is going to be, and we have a pending sell signal right there now. So this is going to invalidate my whole analysis now because we have a pending signal on there. This is a flickering momentum. It's on the actual entry candle. So I don't think the 709 is going to be ideal. If you guys want to take it, I mean, feel free. I've kind of done my analysis right here. I would like if I was to grade this trade, this would probably be maybe like a C grade trade because there's a lot of reasons here. I mean, there's reasons why the trade's good, and but there's more reasons why the trade's not good. We didn't really have a break and retest off the structure here. There wasn't really a confirmation of hold. If we had price come here, break, retest, and then hold above here, and then the entry happens somewhere up here, then great. But we had a pending momentum there, so it's very tricky. So flipping momentum right there. If you guys wanted to take that entry at 709, it is currently running right now. So this is a 709 entry. The the big thing here is that I think we're back into chops, so this is not going to be the best conditions to be looking for entry here. We're back in chop, guys. Price is now just chopping at this upper level. We initially were chopping down here, and now we're just chopping up here now. You can see there's not really much of an expansion. Price is just going back and forth. I'm still waiting for my opportunity here for entry. If we don't get anything within this period, which I don't think we are, it's completely fine because I have more algo entries coming up later on at like 754. So, all right, I'm gonna clean this up a little bit. I'm not in any of these positions right here. Looks like I'm gonna be sitting on my hands for a bit. Unless we get better, some better market expansion from here, which I don't know if it's gonna be the case. I'm just marking up the areas over here because this is where the next algo entry cluster is coming. All right, so we had a small cluster right here of algo entries, 705, 709, 710. But you guys can see your price is not going anywhere. So I'm not looking for anything here right now. I'll continue watching. My next opportunities are going to be a little bit later, 7:54. This is kind of what happened yesterday. If you guys remember yesterday, we had a lot of choppiness like during the beginning of the session into the middle. And then later towards the end, we had this big bullish push and all of the algo entries hit. So let's take a look at the algo entries from yesterday. Yeah, so if you look over here, we had a lot of chop. It was chop from like 6:30, basically market open until like 7:40. And then the last entries came up over here at 7:54, 7:56, 7:57, 7:59, and they all won. So I'm okay with waiting because yesterday proved that if you were just patient, the market decided to finally move at the end. It was slow in the beginning and then it was very choppy and then it finally picked up around 7:50, 7:40, 7:50, somewhere around there. So I'm gonna hang tight, not in any positions here. This trade is kind of just running alongside. Here, I'm gonna update the algo real quick. So I'm gonna count the first one as a loss. I want to be realistic here because that was a loss. The second one, there was market chop, so I'm gonna go with that on that one. And then we're gonna wait for these later ones a little later. We have a pending signal right there. So you guys can see we have sell momentums which are coming up. Looking at the other indexes, they're all still pretty bullish, so price can continue to the upside. It's just a matter of time of if and when it'll follow through. All right, while we wait here, guys, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I'm gonna step away for 1 second. I'm just gonna grab some coffee and I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. Uh, Looks like that algo entry hit, so nice work right there if you guys caught that. Algo entry for seven, both of them hit actually. This one right here, the 709 and the 710. It wasn't chopped though, so I mean, let's see. The chop started, I'd say around like 705. Yeah, so I mean, for me personally, I wouldn't really look for that one because it was chopping up, but it did hit right there, as you guys can see. So yeah, loss on the 705, but a win on the 709 and 710. And then win on the big entry right here too. So again, trade within a trade, right? We have the big trade right here, TP. This over here was partial. This over here was the big trade, it hit target, and then another bigger trade within it. We're now back in expansion mode. Yeah, we're back in expansion mode here. Let's see, Kenny looked for a long break and retest at 886. Cool. All right, there's nothing here right now. Again, so basically what I'm gonna look for next is I'm gonna look for another momentum. We have a pending sell momentum right there. It just came up for ES, also for YM right here. So if that sell momentum comes up, I'm gonna set up another entry right there. Another bigger, longer entry. So again, we talked about this yesterday, guys. I don't really care too much about trend. I'm okay with trading both directions because I'm trading based off momentum. So if the momentum's strong enough and it's pushing that direction, I'm okay with writing it in there. The trend is going to be a confluence. It's not going to be a requirement for me. Um, Another pending momentum right there. So I'm going to wait for it to close before I mark anything up. I'm just going to follow it. Let's take a look at the other indexes. So everything here is pretty bullish right now. YM, ES, NQ, GC, everything is bullish. Looking over here at the lower time frames, bullish. Higher time frames also bullish. Prices above the pivots, trend meters green, pivots are angling up. The 4 hour over here is kind of neutral in a sense, so it's not really strong, but yeah, we'll be looking as price continues on. Yeah, Masich said everything is a confluence. The momentum signal is the only requirement. Yeah, exactly. And I think we have to stick to that, right? Well, not we, but I keep overfitting where I try to make the strategy as perfect as possible. But realistically, there's no way to make it perfect. And you have to accept the losses. Like we have the win ratio, like we understand the win rate. So let me just go over here real quick. See the next entry is at 754. Yeah, so I already have the statistics here. I know what the probabilities are. So, and this is just based off the momentum. So I got to stick to the momentum because the momentum is exactly what everything is based off of, right? So this entry that's coming up at 754, we have a 55% probability of it winning as a 2.2 profit factor, max equity drawdown of 4.87. It has a probability for buys at a 54.55% probability, and then the sell is 55.56. So it's pretty much balanced. Like the buys and the sells both hit. You guys can see over here, it's pretty much won 6 out of the previous 5 entries, 5 out of the previous 4 entries. These trades usually run for a little bit longer. So for buys over here, they tend to run for about, or for wins, they run for about 13 minutes. For losses, they run for about 8 minutes. This is a good sign because you want the winners to last longer than the losers. Um, Average of 11 minutes. So I'll be looking for this entry here as we get closer. Sorry, guys. Alina's away. I'm gonna have to go get Alina real quick. I'll be right back, guys. Give me 1 second. All right, guys, I'm back. Got Alina here with me. Um, CJ said just trust Bernard and the momentum. They won't steer you wrong. Exactly right, CJ. So Alina's here. This is the one day I mentioned this last week, guys. There's gonna be one day out of the week where I have Alina in the morning, which is not a big deal. I just have to trade with her, which is cool. She's learning 122, 121. Here, let me see. It's one times two. Yeah, Alina's mom, she just wants my wife. She basically just wants one day out of the week in the morning. So I gotta have Alina with me. Here, look, check out the charts. You got a bearish momentum right there, baby. So guys, we have a bearish momentum right here. I've marked up the bigger move. So if you guys want to trade within this bigger move, you can. There's an MPS which is currently running within it. So we had a sell signal right here, retracement confirmation on this red candle. So this is a MPS within the bigger move. So we had this momentum entry, and then there's an MPS running within it right there. This is kind of a tricky entry because so like typically I like to see the MPS happen when it's in profit, like down here. This is tricky because price was actually in drawdown, and then it came down immediately on this candle right here, right? So I don't like when stuff like that happens. I like when the MPS happens lower, like down here. So this is one MPS. If there's another MPS that happens right after, you could actually get into the next one, which looks like it might be coming up right here. So we have a red candle, a green candle. If a red one happens right after it, that could be another MPS immediately right after, right? So the reason why I don't like it when this happens, I'll just clean this up a little bit so I can give you guys a better visualization. The reason why I don't like when this breaks past the entry point is because it tends to retest. See how it's retesting right here? And it might do something like that. That's why for me, if I take an MPS, I want it to be down here in profit. So when I see a sell signal, I want it to come down, retrace, and then provide entry down here. I don't like when it's like, and let me show you a cleaner view of it. I'll put it right next to it over here. So let me just show you guys the differences. So this is the clean MPS, which I actually like to take. So I like this kind of MPS, right? I don't like this kind of MPS. See, because this is kind of what happened right here. It went into drawdown and then it came down for confirmation. It basically did a double fake out. If it came down, faked out, and then faked out right back into the direction of the trade. Similar to what happened right here, right? So basically it came down, faked out, came down. And then again, right here, price came up, the entry showed up, faked out, and then came back. So basically a double fake out, which will shake you out of your position. That's why like I want to have confluences where momentum is very strong and not where it's choppy. Because right here, it's obviously been chopping up a bit, right? So again, right here, this is another MPS running within the trade. So you got an MPS within an MPS. Another thing that I like to look at, and these are just small little confluences. I like to see a slope, right? So this MPS right here is not a clean one. Like I said, I like it to be very clean like this, where it's kind of a slope in a sense, meaning you have a high right here, and each candle is just lower and lower and lower, right? Yeah, that then. So this over here, this is where the first red is, and this over here is like it's higher, so it's not lower. It's not like a clean slope to the downside, but the trade is still running. She just said, Eileen, she needs to be here. She's going to be take over the business. I know. Hopefully, she wants to trade. I think she will. I think she will. She's been really. I've exposed her like to the charts pretty early in life. Obviously, she's been on here for with us for a while, so hopefully she likes trading. If she doesn't, it's fine, but hopefully she does. Um, yeah, exactly. When she said, of course she will. She see how much her daddy makes. Exactly. So we got to keep winning. We got to keep her motivated to want to do this. Let's see. Masij said, Sean, when you're done with your analysis, could I share screen for a second? I want to show something very exciting to our group. Yeah, sure. Do you want to do it right now, Masij, or do you want to do it later? Because my algo entries aren't coming up until like 7:54. Okay, no, it's fine. That's fine. Okay, yeah, no problem. we'll do it towards the end of the session. So guys, if you guys are here right now, Masij is going to show you guys something exciting. So I would highly recommend you guys stay till the end of the session. He's going to set it up, and then when he's ready, he will show you guys what he's been working on. Yeah, I'm excited too. Excited. We'll see what happens. Yeah, so I got my algo entry at 7:54. It's not coming up for like another 20 minutes. Um, yeah, we'll see what happens here. There's another MPS. So there's a lot of MPSs that are just coming in right now, guys. These are just overlapping MPSs. So again, right here, red candle, green candle, red candle. These are just multiple MPSs following up. The reason why I'm drawing multiple MPSs is because this is how Massage's bot works, right? This is how the automation works. It identifies MPSs as they happen, as they continue to happen versus what we do is we tend to just stick at like one area. This is more of a price action type style MPS, but for the most part, it's basically that pattern, right? Retrace direction, retracement direction. So again, right here, there's another one running there. I mean, I wouldn't take these trades, but we're just using them as confluence for continuation. You guys will probably hear Alina talk more. She's been talking a lot lately. Want to see the chart? Yeah. Yeah, I know. Colors, huh? All right, let's see. Yeah, Paul said my son is talking a lot more, finding his voice. How old is your son, Paul? Alina's talking a lot. She's like a chatterbox, dude. She never wants to sleep. This morning, so this is why like I was running through technical issues too with the stream this morning because I was trying to put her down, put her back to sleep. She woke up at 5:30 with me or 5 o'clock with me, and then she didn't want to go to bed. I was just gonna bring her on the stream with me from the beginning, but I figured she should just go back to bed. 7 months. Okay, cool. Yeah. Alina is 7 months, so about around the same age. She's been talking around 6 months. Fair. Does your son have like his first words ready? She loves saying dada. My wife hates it, but those are her first words. She's she says dada, baba, mama. She's now starting to say daddy. It's just her she's finding her voice and she's starting to like instead of the odd noises, she's making the E noises. So da 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 dee. A booby. All right, guys, nothing here right now. You can see prices stuck in the structure. There's this resistance here. So it's a resistance turn support. Price basically is retesting it. It's done a double or a double bottom already or triple bottom. So we had price break, retest, and then retest again right here. So if we get a buy signal here, this is probably gonna be a nice push to the upside. Hopefully. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, if we get a buy signal, I'll just kind of wrap this one up and then we'll switch back to buys. It doesn't really matter to me too much because I'm waiting for other entries here. Maria said she's a woman. Of course she talks a lot. I know she gets it from her mom. She uh she has my wife's personality for sure. She won't stop talking. Baby girl. Yeah. Connection lost. Let's check let's check my accounts, make sure they're good. Okay, they're still good. All right, so they are still good. We're still waiting for opportunities right here for entry. We have a pending buy signal. So we have a pending buy signal right here. This has come up for the past couple minutes. We had a buy signal at 7:34, 7:33, 7:30. It's been trying to push up right now. It just doesn't have it yet. So I'm looking over here so far. Yeah, we have that pending buy signal right there on the one. Let's see. We got YM over here, which is still bullish. Yes, it's bullish. NQ, that's bullish. Gold, that's bullish. Everything's bullish. So, I mean, ideally, I'd rather take buys here than sells. 7:35 right now. We have quite a bit of time. Okay, we got the buy signal there. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust this now. So we got this right here. Or 48. So this is I wouldn't consider it a big move, but it's a bullish move. So I just have this marked up here. If this here flops, that's completely fine. This can continue down lower. We would need a sell signal from there, but we'll see where this ends up, where it ends up going. Yeah, Masij said she looks like Sean though. Yeah, Masij has I'm sorry, Masij. My daughter Alina, she looks like me. She has my looks, but then she has your mom's personality. Oh, yeah. Blabbity 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 blah. Yeah? Baby girl, we have 40 minutes left of trading. Or not even that, maybe less. Um, Steven is asking, Sean, did your ancestors do trading or own a business? Masif said his ancestors have been trading for centuries. It's in his blood. Yeah, no, the unfortunately not. Yeah, that. Yeah, no, I'm the first one in my family that I know of at least that trades or that owns a business. Yeah, no, all my relatives and family and whatever I've had a couple of family members who own businesses, but not none that I've like learned from or that I've known. I kind of learned all this stuff on my own. Needed to change. I mean, we've all kind of worked in like higher education for in a sense. Like I was an attorney before this. My mom was a nurse. My dad was a radiologist. So, but nothing related to trading or business. Like, so we have this trade currently running right now. I want to look this one. Yeah, we have this buy signal, which is currently it's an invalid momentum, but it's regardless. I'm still tracking the momentum in that direction. I think what I'll do, I marked it up from the low right here, but I'm gonna mark it up from the high, just so that we have more space for this movement. 32, and we'll put 64 here. Okay, so this trade's currently running right now. It's pushing it pretty nicely. Looks like we're starting to push back into expansion. We do have a resistance up here, which is just going to be for reference. I don't really care too much that there's a resistance here. I'll probably still trade through it. But it looks like if we do get chopped up right there, then, obviously we go back and chop. Daniel said trading lechon recipes for centuries, literally. See, CJ said self-flickering on five momentum is annoying me. Yeah, we have that sell momentum, which is right there, but it's held on pretty nicely. Yeah, Missy said, I don't know what my grandparents did. They're Native Americans, so I'm one-fourth Native. Nice. I was gonna say, Missy, your ancestors and great grandparents were probably master coders back then, before computers were invented. Yeah. Yeah, no, Steven said personality and behavior definitely gets passed down in humans and it stays with you. Okay. You want to come out? I'll turn you the other way in a second, okay? What are you looking at? The bull? Are you a bull or are you a bear? All right, this trade's currently running. This is a possible MPS setting up right here, guys. If anybody wants to get into it, this is one that I might be. I don't know if I want to take my risk on this one because the thing is, I want to wait for the algo entry. So I'm probably just gonna follow this. Yeah, actually, I'm not gonna take it because it's outside the bigger move. This is like I said, I want to trade within the bigger move here, and it's not within the bigger move. If you guys want to take this right here, this is a possible MPS. If it was within the bigger move, I would have been more inclined to take it, but it's not within the bigger move right now. It's gonna be outside of it. See, Steven said, when I get FOMO or excited, my dad was the exact same way. Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, but your Steven is right though. Personality and behavioral uh things get passed down from what I experienced too. Actually, I don't know. Maybe for the most part. I could see it happening, but I don't see it happening with me and my parents. I don't think we have the same personality. But I've seen it before. A lot of mental things passed down through genes and stuff. Genetics. Yeah. All right, let's see. We got price pushing up. This is the momentum move. It's pushing through. It's almost at its target right there. I think this will hit. I don't know about the MPS, but because it's farther out, but this one does look like it's gonna hit the momentum. It's almost there. Yeah, exactly. Masih said nature versus nurture. That's the whole debate. We don't really know which is which. Yeah. And I agree with you 100%, Masih. Because some things could be inherited and some things could be taught, right? That's the whole debate as well. It's like, but genetics is real though, of course, like athletes, right? Essentially because babies absorb everything. Yeah, babies they're like a sponge. So like whatever you teach them, they learn everything literally. That's why everyone tries to teach their kids like different languages in the beginning. Like Alina, she's learning three languages right now. Yeah, she's learning three languages. My mom speaks to her in Tagalog, which is the Filipino language. I speak to her in English, and then my wife speaks to her in Spanish. So she's learning three languages right now. And then she'll probably learn more because we live in a city where it's like very cultured. If you guys are familiar with Irvine, it's very cultured here. So like you could go to school and you could learn like Chinese. Like Chinese is really big here and Russian and stuff like that. Like all my neighbors. It's funny because in my neighborhood, I'm the minority here, which is kind of crazy. I'm the only Filipino here, and my wife's the only Mexican here. Everyone that lives in my neighborhood are either Indian, white, or Russian. Yeah, baby. Yeah, so it's interesting. See, Joe's asking what's your time zone, Los Angeles? Yes, that is correct. Pacific time. Miss said we are in Irvine. Thought you'd be a bit more north. My wife, she went to school in Berkeley, so she's not from there, but she went to school in Berkeley. Uh, and I was in LA for a while. I was actually farther south. I went to law school in San Diego, but I grew up in Los Angeles, so but I don't like LA. I like Orange County more. Her degree was in microbiology. She was supposed to be she was like pre-med, but then she ended up just kind of doing nursing instead. Life caught up. But yeah, she was microbiology. We want Alina to go to, well, she wants Alina to go to Berkeley or some Ivy League, of course. I'll let her do whatever she wants, but that's kind of our plan for her. We got to groom her to make it to Ivy League. Yeah, iPhone said most countries outside the US teach English in primary school. The US doesn't teach it until high school, which is a little too late. Yeah, yeah, the US education system is kind of backwards in a sense. That's kind of how I see. It's a little backwards. That's why my wife, it's crazy. She actually studied everywhere. She was like as a kid she did she was an exchange student in like Germany, so my wife speaks German. She went to school in Mexico for like basically every summer. So it's like she learned way more in like these other countries versus here in the US. Here in the US you kind of have to you have to do extra to be on par with like, Europeans and people around the world, which is like shocking. It's crazy. iPhone said meant other languages, Spanish, French. Oh yeah, yeah. No, I agree with you with that too. Yeah. But just the educational system here in the US, it's pretty flawed for the most part. If you go to public school, if you go to private school, it's different because it's like it's all prep there, right, for future. But here in public school, because I went to public school, it was super backwards. You had like I would never know what I was doing. You'd have to go to like tutoring or like do other like extra stuff to understand stuff really. Thankfully, we can kind of teach Elena stuff. I shouldn't have said her name. She'll back up. Hey, go back to sleep, baby. All right, so this buy signal is still running, guys. The first part here did not finish. It's still currently active. It came up to this resistance and bounced directly off it, but it is still currently kind of sitting right there. We're getting closer to our algo entries right here at 754. So I'm hoping that we get some movement here. I don't want to trade in this chop. We're obviously not in expansion right now. We're more so in chop at the moment. But that is what I'm looking for. She said, "Don't come to MIT. I hate it here." Yeah, I could never do STEM. Yeah, props to you for doing STEM and anybody else who's doing STEM, a STEM major. If you guys are not familiar with STEM, it's just like science and math. That's why I was liberal arts my whole, that's why I became a lawyer. I was like, what can I do to not do any math and then make pretty good money? Like, I'll be a lawyer. Uh, and then now I'm a trader and I kind of have to know math. I mean, technically you don't. If you want to do if you want to trade on like the bigger scale, like the hedge fund side, you would need to know some sort of math because you have to take the test and stuff. But yeah, if you just want to be a do technical analysis, you don't really need to know math. Everything is kind of automated in a sense. Yeah, Paul said I'm in college for accounting and business management. Nice. Vince said he did STEM during COVID, worst part of schooling ever. I know because you have to learn on your own. The good thing with like with things nowadays is that there's ChatGPT, right? Like I suck at math when I was studying for my Series 3 and stuff, but I literally just put everything in ChatGPT and it explained it to me perfectly so I could understand math. Because the highest math I went to was like statistics. You don't really have to take very high math and if you're gonna be like a poli sci major or a law major or anything like that. So like when I started to have to do like calculus type equations, I was like totally lost. But yeah, COVID, I mean, it sucks for the people who were in college during COVID because you guys, I feel like a lot of you guys didn't get the full college experience because like 2 or 3 of those years you were basically not in school. See, salary over emotional stability major. Yeah, that's literally STEM. That's literally STEM. I could never. Talon, you said did computer science, then COVID, then AI, but then Cody Kai hit hard, right? All right, guys, so this trade's still running. Like I said earlier, we have this bigger trade, which is currently running right now. And then we have the MPS, which is running in between it. Oh, yeah, go to sleep. We have these trades that are running, but we're currently in a market chop right now. So like this MPS is not doing so well. Ideally, so I would maybe still be okay with taking this algo entry, but I need price to break above structure right here. So I need price to be above here, and then I'll look for a buy entry. I don't want to trade within this chop because price is just chopping in between this range right now. Zoom out real quick. Yeah, so you guys can see the chop right here a little more. It's just going in between this area right here. Or so I would like if price pushes above here, if we get a sell signal, I'll look for price to push below here. And then I'll look for this here to kind of go in that direction. I just saw, yeah, so Roland over here was asking if Masija's from MA, as in Massachusetts, not Master's of Arts. Yeah, Masija said once I get financial engineering degree, I might get hired by a hedge fund and spy on them and report back to you guys. Yeah, no, that's usually what see the crazy thing with with doing that is like, and I've talked to other uh quants and financial engineering people, and like I always ask them like, why don't you just go solo? And they're like, dude, it's so much stressful doing it solo. I mean, even myself, like when I first started this hedge fund, I didn't think it was going to be this much work, but it's a lot of work and it's a lot of pressure. I feel like when I was just trading my own accounts, it wasn't, I could take more risk and it wouldn't be as it wasn't as taxing on my mental. But now it's like I have to be super, super cautious with the entries I take, and then I have to do a lot of the other behind the scenes type work. It's just it's tough when you do stuff on your own. But yeah, no, working with a hedge fund would be cool. Like another hedge fund that's like bigger, of course, to see what they're working with. I'm on an extremely small scale compared to like, because I know other hedge fund owners, even like the ones that are bigger than me, but smaller in scale. Like the technology they're running with is crazy because they have like such a crazy budget. Maybe eventually we'll get to that point, but right now we are where we're at. All right, so we have a sell signal right here, guys. This is, it's not going to invalidate these entries, but it pretty much cuts off the bullish move. This is now pushing to the downside. So I'm going to see here if we have some volatility push down, we may be able to look for some entries for a sell here. Like I said, if I'm going to take a sell here, I would like price to kind of push below this point, but we're really in market chop right now. There's nothing going on. Price is just going back and forth between this range. I could draw another structure right here, but it's not really necessary because I mean, it's kind of obvious where price is pushing, but I'll leave it there for now so that you guys can see where price is likely to either get stuck or continue from. Yeah, exactly. See that needs don't apply here. No stress. I just let the bot go. But this degree helps me improve it every day. Yeah, 100% Siege. Yeah, because like a lot of the stuff that you don't typically learn on your own. All right, what you want, huh? All right, so I'm looking at this right here, guys. It's not looking, and we're having another buy signal. So it's just, we're like in pretty bad chop right now. If this here closes with the buy signal, then we're just going to flip it back the other way. But you guys can see that the chop is just happening right here down the middle. It's been chopping for about 20 minutes or so, or even longer, actually. It's been chopping up since 7:05. So it's been about 50 minutes in this big chop, and then maybe 20 minutes in the smaller chop right here. But we'll see. I'm going to follow it. This is the 7:54 candle. So this is technically the algo entry for 754. It's not one that I'm looking to get into because price is still stuck in chop. Like I said, I need price to be an expansion for me to want to take these trades. I'm just looking back at the entries for today. There weren't really many good opportunities today, guys. Like we had MPSs that happened in between here, and none of them were really that good. We had the momentum. pushes that kind of went through, but we didn't have a lot of smaller entries within. We had one smaller one right here. This was a MPS. This was an MPS, but this was not necessarily one that we'd look to take because this was at 639. This is when the crazy chop was happening and market was in market chop. So like right here, price was going sideways. We had MPS, and then these are just the bigger moves. And there's another MPS right here. Price was in chop, right? Choppy market right there for that entry. Wouldn't have taken it. Choppy market right there. Wouldn't have taken that. Same with this. Also choppy. This trade didn't actually hit, so it's a good skip. And then again, right here, you can see that price is still chopping up. So it's just a really choppy day today. Um, I mean, there's just not really much to work with. So that algo entry right there, obviously I would have skipped it. Next one's going to happen at 756, but again, it's still in chop, so it's not looking like one that I want to take that I would want to take. Um, yeah, we have a buy signal right here that's currently pending. It's a buy signal for the 1 minute and for the 3 minute. Let's see, Kenny said AI basically replaces quants. The quant's job, score, and skill set is exactly what AI can do with the data a hedge fund wants. I mean, yeah, technically, but you still need it to be like it still needs to be organized in a way. Yeah, I don't really agree with that because the AI, it's not necessary unless you have a machine learning AI that you've created. And I mean created like as a custom, because like typical basic AI, you can't really do stuff like that. Like you think about like these big hedge funds like BlackRock, they have their own AI systems and like they still have quants, right? They have quants that engineer the AI to teach the AI to do exactly what they want. Because the AI is great, but you have to prompt it in a way, or not even prompt it, you have to engineer it in a way to give you the data, to do what you want with the data. Hey, baby girl, here, I'll take you off for a second. I'll just hold you regularly because I don't think we're gonna get any entries here. Right. All right, look. Nothing there right now, see? Let's see. Kenny said it's a custom code closed source system. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, Masij is an actual financial data engineering major, so he knows more about this than both of us combined. So I don't know if he doesn't think so, then I mean AI helps, but I don't think AI could replace quants together. Right, because you still need someone to engineer it. It's a tool that quants use to improve like their edge and alpha and stuff, but I don't think it's necessarily a replacement. Because you still need someone to have like the brains to have the creativity to think about what needs to be. Yeah, but everyone has their own opinion. I mean, it doesn't bother me. It's like I'm not a quant, so I don't really have an opinion on it. But yeah, AI is really smart and AI is getting better. The technology is just getting better every day, right? It's always getting better. But having AI in the hands of someone who knows how to use it properly is like the game changer there, of course. All right, so we have this right here. Um, we got the sell signal coming up. I'm not gonna have any entries here, guys. So I'm looking right now. 705, 709. There is, I mean, there's obviously nothing here. All right, so unfortunately, guys, we're liking this chop. So let me just, I'll try to, I can't really clean it up that much because it's all messed up with all of the markups. But okay, so we had a buy signal here. This was invalidated because price would have came down and stopped it out at this higher low. And then we have a sell signal here now, but I wouldn't take the algo entry at this point because the let's let's go back, let's go back down. Okay, so let me just do my final analysis here before we wrap this up. So the main reason why there's nothing here that we could really take was that price was just in chop the entire day, right? So let me try to clean this up a little bit. Here, I'll just go to a clean chart so that you guys can kind of see things a little better. All right, so here's the chart right now, right? I just want to show you guys, this is the reason why we couldn't really take anything over the past hour. So price was basically just stuck in this market chop. So we've been looking for an entry right here, but see how price has just been within this chop the entire time? Maybe just. All right, all right. Anyways, so looking at this right here from 7:00, basically 7 o'clock, for the past hour, price has been in this chop, right? So that's why there's nothing we could have taken. I was looking to take some buys here if price pushed above here, but obviously that didn't happen today, right? No buys there. And then vice versa, I would look for sells here. Price would have came below, but there's just nothing there. So unfortunately, there just wasn't anything for me to take here. Here's my chart. It's very messy, but you can see that we tried to look for entries here, but there just wasn't any opportunity. There was some opportunity right here before I got to 7 o'clock, but once 7 o'clock hit, and I'll put a line right here, there just wasn't very much opportunity between here. Because either way, you get chopped up, right? You could take a buy, you could take a sell. It doesn't matter. You get chopped up. Um, Try to see if there's anything else here that could have been relevant. So here's one strategy, kind of similar to what Masij has been applying. So like, for example, here there's a higher high. There's a red candle right there. This could have been a reversal entry to the downside, right? That's the only thing I can really see that could have been traded within this area. If there was some V1 variations, double body, double wick rejections, maybe. But again, there just wasn't really much confirmation here. We got price, which is finally breaking below here. If you guys wanted to take this as an algo entry, so let me just mark this up real quick. I'm not in this position, but this would be the algo entry. It's currently still running, but it's like barely in profit. So the thing is, this could eventually push down and hit, targets down here, but just looking at where it's currently sitting and where it's at, it doesn't look like it's going to have much push behind it unless we have confirmation. Like say if we have a break and retest of this area, because that's what I would have looked for. I would have looked for a break and retest, and I would have taken my entry somewhere below here. But yeah, it's 8 o'clock. So if there's any question that you guys have, feel free to hop into the chat. Unfortunately for today, there just wasn't very much opportunity. Again, here's a clean chart just to show you guys what was going on. This entire day was just chopping up from 7 o'clock until now. So for the past hour, these are 60 candles right here. For the past hour, price is just going back and forth within this area. So whether you were looking for a buy or whether you're looking for a sell, there was really no opportunity here until price would have reached, outside these limits above here, below here. So unfortunately, again, today there's just no entries. I was really hoping there'd be something. This has been a really slow month for me, but for the most part, the data is lining up perfectly. It's just we need to have some sort of directional market regime before we can start taking those entries. So again, market opened up right here at 6:30. We had this huge extreme spike immediately on open. And then right here, price kind of pushed up a little bit, but we didn't really have opportunities around that time. Looking over here. Yeah, we didn't really have much opportunity because it was still chopping around this middle area right here. So, all right, let me see. Yeah, and we didn't have any target entries around that time. We had listed entries here. So 6:33, let me just check that real quick. No, there's no edge today. It's 6:59, which was right here. I guess technically there could have been an entry at 6:59, but it was still choppy around this area right here as it got closer to 7 o'clock. Because this would have been the algo entry, 6:59. All right, guys, I think that's it. Let me check the chat real quick. So looking over here, Masij, unfortunately, his internet is bugging out, so he can't show us the what he was going to show us today. He's going to show us tomorrow, so it's actually going to work out better for us because I won't have Alina tomorrow. Alina's mom will be here, so I won't have to take care of her in the morning. But yeah, if there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to hit me up on Discord. Again, we're going to keep using these bigger moves to identify our entries, and we're going to look for trades within the bigger move if available. But again, right here, you can see prices still chopping up, and there's nothing here to really take right now. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. Otherwise, yeah, that's about it, guys. So I'll catch you guys back here tomorrow. If you guys have any questions, I'll probably be in the Discord. If not, I'll see you guys back here tomorrow for the next live session. Great work right here from Roland. Solid profit, 2,452 for the day. Nice work. And we have Paul over here, which took this win on the Russell 2K and then also on NASDAQ. And of course, Messi, the bot here, lost a little bit. Not too much, but just a bit. So, all right, guys, that's it for the day. If you guys have any questions, hit me up. Otherwise, I will see you guys back here tomorrow for the next live session. So, all right, guys, I'll catch you guys then. Have a good one.